Lakers and Wolves first-round series in Los Angeles got one more practice in before they host Minnesota. That's Saturday night on ABC. LeBron James heaping praise on Minnesota's Anthony Edwards Friday, well aware of the threat that the Wolves and their superstar present.
Man is amazing. Unbelievable basketball junkie. Loves to play the game of basketball. Great kid. And all the success he's gotten so far throughout his young career has been awesome to see. You got to be able to defend. You got to be able to get stops. You know, we have a system that we've been working on, throughout the whole course of the season, and then, it's up to us to go out there and execute that. I think coach and the staff, they put us in position to give us the best game plan they believe that gets us a victory, and it's up to us to go out and execute that.
They're one of the best teams in basketball. The top 10 offense, top 10 defense. It's a credit to their players. It's a credit to their coaching staff. We have the utmost respect for them as an opponent and as a challenge.
The Lakers have remarkable history, participating in 64 different playoffs, reaching the finals exactly half the time. Of course, they have 17 championships, one shy of Boston for the most in the history of the NBA. As they search for number 18, number 77, Luka Doncic sat down with Malika Andrews. Set, we know who's playing who, and out west, man, it is all spicy matchups. But I'm asking you to just tell me one. You get to pick one that you're saying that's the one that's most intriguing. Which is it?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Scott. Just in the West alone, we're set to see one of the greatest playoffs that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years. And I heard Legs pick Clippers and Nuggets, and I'm not mad at him about that. But I'm going Lakers and Minnesota. And they have a lot of people out there that think that the Lakers are just going to steamroll the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think otherwise. I think this series is going 7 games. The Lakers are going to win. But they're going to win because of that guy right there, Austin Reeves. Yes, LeBron James and Luka are the best players. Austin Reeves is the most important player. Because LeBron James is going to be asked to do so much defensively and other things, maybe play the center position, you're going to need that secondary primary ball handler to take the pressure off LeBron James. And let me throw this stat out there to you, Scott. They were 27-9 this season when Austin Reeves scored over 20 points. That's how important he is to this Laker team and their success.
I like it because, look, the stars are going to be the stars, but often in the playoffs this time of year, whether it's the NBA or the Stanley Cup playoffs, is that other person. Who's that person that's going to step forward? We'll see if it's Reeves. All right, in the East, I mean, the line beneath Boston and Cleveland and Boston, let me put them in the right order, is pretty significant. But the most interesting series in the first round in the East to you is which one?
I got to look at that Indiana-Milwaukee series. I mean, Scott, let me say this. A lot of people are picking the Pacers, and I get it. I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's solely because of what Giannis Antetokounmpo done the last month and a half of the NBA of the regular season. He was the best player in the last month and a half. And it's not just the 30 points, 12 rebounds. He averaged 12 assists throughout that 8-game winning streak. And I love the point forward of Giannis Antetokounmpo. That shows growth. The great Kevin Garnett told me he always watched those franchise guys, Scott, to see if they're able to go out there and get you 30 and still go get others and make others around them better. And we're seeing that right now out of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I believe he's going to be the best player in this series, is why I'm picking the Bucks to win it.
I'm with you that it's going to be an incredibly compelling playoffs, and there's a number of teams in the West for sure that could come out. There's a number of teams in the East as well, but I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked my guy Bucci last night about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Give me some teams that you're going to put in pen, not in pencil, in pen. You're saying these are the teams I think are meeting for the finals. Who are you looking at?
Well, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder coming out of the Western Conference. I think they check all boxes. They got the depth. They're deeper than the Pacific Ocean. Adding Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso in the offseason. You look at the other guys that they have around them coming off the bench, Isaiah Joe, the kid Cason Wallace. Those guys are big contributors. And then you know what you're going to get out of SGA. He's a bona fide superstar. And then you have 2 second options you could go to. Chet Holmgren or Jalen Williams. They defend at an extremely high level all across the board. I voted Lou Dort as my Defensive Player of the Year. They're coming out of the Western Conference.
And you feel like they're going to take on who?
Oh, the Boston Celtics. And I'm not being biased here, Scott. I'm not being biased, but they still have the best team in basketball, man. I mean, you look at the growth of the others. Peyton Pritchard probably is going to win Sixth Man of the Year. Luke Cornett, right, double-double every time he steps on the floor. But that damn Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis, and with Jaylen Brown not being 100%, I'm looking at those two guys to be the best duo in the postseason right now. Jason Tatum is on the mission. People can say what they want. He felt disrespected after they won their championship last year, from not getting the conference MVP, finals MVP, things not going the way he wanted to go in the Olympics.
Injury, yes, but obviously he's going to be remembered for a long, long time for a trade in early February, which changed the face of that team and in a lot of ways the league. Dallas did beat Sacramento in the 9-10 game. The Kings moved on from their GM immediately after. Meanwhile, Dallas's embattled GM, Nico Harrison, still has his job. He doubled, then tripled down on the Luka trade in a closed-door meeting with the media prior to the play-in, saying defense wins championships. The Mavs played for a championship last season. They don't qualify for the playoffs this year. And in a loaded West, how do they get back to being close to the championship again anytime soon? Going to seem like almost certainly they don't. All-time stunner from early February will continue to echo in Dallas and around the league. Tim Legler standing by to join us from Memphis. And Tim, I want to just start with the beginning and the group that Memphis started the game with. They've got options, and it's about matchups. And Edey's out there. There's a lot of question when he was at Purdue. Can he play in the league? He got another double-double, and I'm not saying he was the guy, but I'm just curious that the grouping they started the game with, because you made mention of it, how significant was that in the start they got out to?
Yeah, listen, I thought Zach Edey was the unsung factor in this game. And this is back-to-back games, really. He had 14 points, 17 boards against Golden State the other night. Struggled a little bit offensively in the fourth quarter of that game. But I thought his size and presence in the paint against a team this big was so important to allow Jaren Jackson Jr. to be more versatile out on the perimeter defensively. Dallas had very little opportunity on the offensive glass. They didn't get much at all, really, around the rim, despite all of that size. So I thought Edey was a factor. But look, the main factor in this game was the pace that the Grizzlies started this game with, converting turnovers into the open floor in a transition, living downhill off penetration. And that's really what got this crowd into the game, created the environment. You saw Memphis impose their style of play. That's what the question was for me going into the game. Which team could do that? Memphis clearly did. Number one in the league in pace, and you saw all of that in the first half.
For sure. And look, that's an electric building, and Josh said that they fuel them, they jump them early, score the first 7, they're off to the races, make a bunch of threes. In the same way that Dallas, in a way, won that game with Sacramento with that 44-point second quarter. It felt like the 39-point first quarter created a hill that Dallas just was not going to be able to have the energy to overcome. The matchup that they now face in OKC, this is not an 8-seed Grizzlies.